In Canada, Quebec Premier François Legault says his province is at capacity and is looking for Ottawa to step in and help with the migrant crisis. Thousands of asylum seekers have crossed at the irregular border crossing at Roxham Road and elsewhere. CBC's Rafi Boudjikanian is following this story for us. So, Rafi, tell us why Premier Legault is saying Quebec has no more room.
Diane, he's essentially saying the federal government's own capacity to temporarily host refugees and asylum seekers in Quebec is steadily decreasing. The Roxham Road is frequently used. Last year, it's estimated 40,000 people went through that crossing from the United States to get into Canada, and that's nearly 42% of all irregular border crossings from south of the border in 2022. In his letter, Legault says, and I'll read you an expert, Quebec has a long tradition of welcoming refugees. However, this influx cannot continue. Quebec's reception capacity is now largely exceeded. He is suggesting the federal government needs to revise its own safe third country agreement with the United States, and meantime, he says, get all asylum seekers coming into the province out of there.
So now many of these asylum seekers have actually already been leaving Quebec. Tell us about that.
Yes, and Legault's own government, Quebec's immigration department, admits that's the case. It points out that last week, for example, some 505 migrants came through the Roxham Road crossing, and it says 475 of them, so a vast majority did end up going elsewhere. One popular destination for now is Cornwall, Ontario, a town on the Quebec border in Ontario. Its mayor is also concerned about capacity. As of last week, there were some 780 asylum seekers in Cornwall. He spoke to Rosemary Barton live about this yesterday.
I would like to see a more permanent solution, because right now it's very short term. But if we can have some permanency on the ground where we're working in collaboration and consultation with IRCC, which hasn't truly been happening just yet, that could provide better outcomes.
And we're seeing similar concerns raised by other premiers in other provinces. Have a listen to the Premier of Prince Edward Island.
We do have significant challenges that we're dealing with right now in terms of housing availability. Wanted to have a deeper conversation about what that would look like and what our ability to help would be. But I think all of us would, I think as a part of our DNA as Canadians is to try to be as welcoming as we possibly can to those from around the world who come from difficult circumstances.
Now, as for a potential revision of the Safe Third Country Agreement with the United States, well, we know U.S. President Joe Biden is supposed to come to Canada on a visit shortly. Quebec would surely want this to be brought up between himself and Prime Minister Justin Trudeau at that time. We reached out to the Prime Minister's office as well as the Federal Immigration Department for comment on Legault's request, and we're awaiting response, Diane.
All right. Thank you very much, Rafi. That's the CBC's Rafi Boudjikanian in Ottawa.